I've seen this person everywhere, and I'm tired of the psyop. When I saw Carrie, it took me a while to figure out where I'd seen her. The right photo, I see an Adam's apple in the throat. Wide neck, large jaw, tall forehead. The center photo, huge hand, and a long ring finger. Allegedly been around for some time, but I don't buy it. Heavily edited, look at the long ring finger. It's obvious to me this is not the same person. It's editing to make whoever this was to look like the one on the right. So he's an osteopathic internal medicine physician, blending traditional and holistic medicine for optimal health. He's a child of God and a believer in Jesus Christ. I guess that means he's immediately trustworthy? I don't think so. I exposed Teresa Llaneros as an MTF Freemason, but now he's playing the Christian card. Christian coach, that's CC. New Age to Jesus, leading Christians from confusion to clarity, that's another CC. And diamonds is 33 numerology. Happy Friday, God is so good. Witnessing the Holy Spirit move is the delight of my life. These people get on my nerves. You're in front of a Mary statue. I told you about Mary. The center picture is a subtle pointing up. Next to that, he's doing the Baphomet sign, or V for Venus. Oh, but he's Christian. Hashtag mermaid life. Yamaya, Mami Water, the West African mermaid goddess. Most Christians believe that mermaids are demons, and he says he's Christian. Carrie says he's Christian, but you're wearing an Egyptian hieroglyph necklace with the Freemason phoenix. Teresa is playing the character of Carrie. Look deeper. Yes, do. Right of silence and boasting of 1 million YouTube views. That will never happen to normal people. Wearing a massive cross, which is overcompensating. If we make you blonde, the difference with Carrie is he's using face fillers. It makes the face softer and more filled out. Oh, look at those shoulders. Let's give you blonde hair and face fillers. It's the same person. The hair parted is the same. The eyebrow shape is the same. The eyeliner technique is identical. The chin and jaw is identical. Some people wouldn't recognize the person on the right as the same on the left, but I can see it. The same hair, the same eyebrows, the same makeup, the same eyes. That's what Carrie looks like. They just gave him fake teeth, contacts, and face fillers. And you notice Carrie's natural hair color is also dark brown. But Terry has small breasts and Carrie's are huge. I told you about these prosthetic breasts. And what happened to those huge boobs? He forgot to put them on. You see the difference? And then he forgets his stage name. Listen.
Again, my name is Dr. Carrie Madi, or Carrie, and I'm an internal medicine physician, osteopathic trained.
What? I thought he said his name is Carrie Madej. If someone asked your name, you would say, oh, my name is this. You wouldn't say, my name is this. If someone pauses before they tell you their name, what comes out next is a lie. Listen to it again.
Again, my name is Dr. Carrie Madi, or Carrie, and I'm an internal medicine physician.
In Babylonian and Assyrian religions, Shadim was a generic name like the Hebrew and Christian word spirit. The word possibly derives from the root meaning to be violent. They were frequently portrayed as winged bulls that guarded the entrances to temples. The chief of the Shadim, according to the TB Pesachim, is Asmodai. As M-E-D-A-J, and his surname is M-A-D-E-J. They simply switched the E and the A. They are also mentioned in Psalms 106, 37 to 38. Their own sons and daughters they sacrificed to demons, Shadim. They shed innocent blood, and the blood of their sons and daughters, whom they sacrificed to the idols of Canaan. So the land was polluted with blood guilt.
To meet a couple of my family members who survived the concentration camps. And they showed me their numbers and the terrible atrocities when I was a child they went through, and that never left my head. Actually, Germany never undeclared itself from World War II. it's still a war country. Why is everything happening like this, like World War II, where we took half the scientists from Nazi Germany and we continued the research here? You know, Germany never undeclared itself from war from World War II. It is still technically actively in war from World War II. It's really interesting to know that, right? That's not, that everything has a purpose. And that, you know, us, United States and Russia, we took the scientists from the Nazis and divided them equally and continued the same exact science experiments and technology as the Nazis were doing. This actually was very much amplified with the Nazi regime in World War II. I think everybody remembers that. And people need to know that those same scientists that believe in that theory, they didn't go to jail, they weren't executed. The United States and Russia took all of those scientists with those beliefs and they continued their work as though nothing ever happened. And so those ideas and beliefs are still around today. Because, you know, there were 38,000 German physicians that were tried for crimes against humanity after World War II.
Asmodai, Asmodaj, the demon of lust, the third of the 7 deadly sins, and of jealousy, anger, and revenge, and the 32nd of the 72 spirits of Solomon. Asmodeus's chief objectives are to prevent intercourse between husband and wife, wreck new marriages, and force husbands to commit adultery. He is also one of the chief demons involved in the cases of possession. The Hebrews absorbed him into their mythology, where he attained the highest status and most power of all his legends. According to the Hebrews, he is the son of Namah and Shamdan. Prior to his fall from heaven, he was part of the Seraphim, the highest order of angels. In other Hebrew legends, he is either associated with or the husband of Lilith, the demon queen of lust. Asmodeus was absorbed into Christian law, becoming one of the devil's leading agents of provocation. Witches were said to worship him, and magicians and sorcerers attempted to conjure him to strike out at enemies. He gives the ring of virtues and teaches arithmetic, geometry, astronomy, and all handicrafts. The hair is the same texture, it's the same side part. The eyebrows. Terry stops the eyeliner in the center of the eye. It doesn't continue to the inner waterline. Carrie's makeup is identical. Drop your blonde versus dark challenge. That's the Freemason black and white duality. That's all they do is a few things. Dye the hair, wear contacts or a wig. It looks like the hair was blonde and recently dyed brown. Overdraws the eyebrows because he's playing Carrie and trying to disguise it, drinking Starbucks, and I told you the meaning of that. A Targetus, the mermaid goddess associated with Venus. Christian, right? Give blonde hair and a fat face, and suddenly it's Carrie. And all the photos of him are blurry, so that's a red flag. I think his eyes are really hazel, but he wears brown contacts. Carrie's gestures are the same. The fingers folded inwards with the thumb out, and Teresa is doing the exact same thing. In the center photo, he's doing it again. He does have brown hair. We make it blonde, and he transforms into a certified physician. Can you see it? Look at Carrie's edited nostril. That's why he's everywhere. He's a Freemason transgendered actor. Big shoulders, big arms. Terry has a singing career. This is so boring. These Freemason agents always do music or have a band on the side. You see this hairstyle? It must be a coincidence, I'm sure. Now he's not doing the face fillers, and it's making him look more manly. But all of these people edit their photos to make their face look softer. It's like his blonde versus dark challenge. I see the same forehead shape, the same hair parted, the same eyebrow shape, the same makeup technique. This rabbi could be at FTM, the head looks bulbous. I'm tired of this charade. I am sick to the back teeth of this Masonic theater show. Doing the hand signs. They have to tell you who they pledge their allegiance to. Talking to Stu Peters, who has a female skull. Oh, there's Sherry Tenpenny. They all talk to each other. These Freemasons with their clique of fellow agents. Richie from Boston is another FTM infiltrator. Sasha Stone? Done. That's done. Sasha is an FTM who hangs out with Teal Swan and all the other shills. She's a new age peddler. Why is she talking to Carrie? You have to look at who they are speaking to and you will know that they are all agents. Which connects to this Freemason agent. This exclusive group of limited hangouts for Freemason shills and then fighting with each other and then making us take sides.
But for those of y'all out there that want to be your own independent critical thinkers, you know, we need more of you. We need more of you to call out people for being deceptive.
You got it. I'll give you what you want. Allegedly, this person was doxxed, but I dug deeper into it and I found it was planned. It's also rumored there will be a protest organized against the cyberbullying and cyber stalking by outside of where Paciarelli is employed. Paciarelli is known by most as Joe from the Carolinas from his YouTube channel. Apparently, Paciarelli is a member of the Dark Alliance and has been using his channel and social media platforms to launch cyberbullying and stalking attacks against good over the past year. You should know, I was there when his information was leaked. It was found legally on the internet because he didn't try too hard to hide his name and location. Idiotic name, like that's so hard. Myself and some others shared it before Jordan or any of them. He says, liar, only CW Chanter knew his real name. I should know because that was the conclusion Unirock reached in his investigation, and Unirock's conclusions were backed by Corey Good himself. Are you implying that Corey Good lied about his conclusions being accurate? Corey had doxed people prior to that date, and he stopped streaming with everyone except for a couple of choice interviews with well-known experts at that time. It looks like one of the individuals in the smear campaign against myself and others, and also against QAnon, is actually a psychology doctor with a criminal record. These journalists are hiding behind fake names and aliases, controlled opposition. Yes, he was arrested in 2019. You can see this is the same person. And he was charged with domestic violence and kidnapping. The charges were later dismissed because he pled guilty to other charges. I imagine his Freemason agency helped him get out of this. They changed it to assault and battery in the 3rd degree, meaning he has a violent personality. He was sentenced to 1 month probation and had to pay the victim $125, and he has a restraining order indefinitely from seeing that person. I include these details because it's in the public's interest. As a psychologist, he is in a position of trust, but he has a history of violent behavior and should not be around vulnerable people, full stop. If he meets a girl online and she doesn't know about this record because it was removed, she won't know that her life is in danger. I don't want the news to tell me that he beat her to death and it could have been prevented if she was aware of his criminal record. He is a member of a criminal religious cult, so they're just going to sweep that murder under the carpet with no justice for her family. What's interesting is in 2018, somebody wrote him this. Just an FYI, if you get into a fight with anyone you know, it's automatically domestic violence. Exactly 3 months prior to that comment, he made a video called True Confessions of an Agent Provocateur. So that tells me this dox was a setup, because exactly 1 year after that tweet, he was arrested for domestic violence. When I contacted him about this in 2021, he never responded, but he had the evidence removed. These Freemasons are cowards. In this video, he said that Project Avalon contacted him and wanted him on their forum or their team, and he said no because it required giving them his personal information. That was 23rd July 2017. But here it says he joined them 20th July 2017. So he lied. Project Camelot and Project Avalon is a controlled op group. The whole nonsense with Corey Good started on these forums. I'm not going into that because I told you, Cosmic Disclosure are all Freemason agents. So anyone talking to Kerry Cassidy or these project groups are Freemason actors. And then people learned that he is an agent. The dark circles round the eyes is called panda eyes and is due to sodomy. I think that's why he wore the aviator glasses, to hide that and also hide his identity. And I said, the dark eyes will tell you these are sodomized mind-controlled deceivers. WTF, a media psychologist? This was kept secret. Why? And people have the right to be upset because he acted like Joe Public when he's really Jesuit Joe. Wow, on his Teresa Llaneras interview, he said he was a permaculture expert, but nobody wanted to hear about that subject, so he does the discernment check shtick. Wow, this is heavy. Could he be both? Maybe he's just a super smart guy. It's not impossible. Well, clearly he is. He's a doctor, permaculture expert, and UFO researcher who often references his team that does research. Maybe being a doctor is where he got the cash to have some kind of staff working for him. Honestly, I'd have a lot of respect for him and his olive branches to Teresa and all that, but something doesn't feel right about keeping all this a secret. Like, he fits the exact profile of a government op. And even if he's not one, it's ironic that he seems so much like one, which is self-sabotaging his work. The dude's an established doctor. What's he doing with the UFO podcast? Why keep that secret when would have only made him a greater success? I also saw some domestic abuse charges posted on Say There's Twitter. Notice there's no more pronounced southern accent when he's talking.
Of one of the children, the 2-year-old boy that went missing up there in Idaho. A grandpa watched the kid while the other family members went down to the creek to fish or something like that.
Particularly if somebody has cancer or a member of their family has cancer. A cancer patient has very unique challenges.
I get when you want a secret alias to go into controversial subjects, but let's be clear, his podcast isn't tinfoil hat craziness. He's a UFO skeptic, basically. It's odd he'd manufacture a whole identity, and when you're board certified, why would you be so desperate to find work when you're now working full-time as a YouTube guy with under 5K subscribers? So many WTFs. Not really so many WTFs if you recognized him as having the very deep agenda that he absolutely has. Why would someone come out of absolutely nowhere, as this guy has, and A, fight so hard to unsolicitedly discredit the individuals talking about disclosure, and B, hide who in fact he really is all along? I'd be very surprised if he wasn't put up to doing this by someone behind closed doors. That, or he's literally that unstable and triggered by people he doesn't agree with that he can't help but go through all the trouble to make the YT channel he did and talk all the he has since he came out of the woodwork. Given that he has the academic credentials that he has, however, it would seem that it's the former and not the latter that is the case with him. Perhaps this might be part of the reason why he's hidden those very academic credentials from the beginning. He wanted to seem like an average guy, so the regular people would be more likely to buy the narrative that he's just talking from off the cuff, when the truth is that he knows all about psyops and is responsible for taking part in one himself. If he had revealed he was a doctor, didn't put on the fake southern accent, and kept this all in the open, his channel would have 5 times more subscribers, and I'd totally be his fan. But keeping all that a secret and creating this new identity is awfully bizarre to me. So this revelation proves to me that he is the intelligent guy that he comes across as in his YouTube videos, and it also indicates that he is as nice and caring as he seems in those YouTube videos as well. I mean, he just seems nice. That's just my take on it. If he's not really nice, he at least knows how to project that. This revelation to me is evidence of a sane person. Nobody's questioning his sanity. He's all about the evidence, and now we have the evidence that he's qualified to spot mental illness. I'd be very interested to hear his observations about the psychological health of all the guests who have appeared on Cosmic Disclosure prior to Wilcock and Good exiting, but at the same time, I recognize that it may not be a good move for him to do that for professional reasons. If this revelation was meant to destroy his status in the community of people who are interested in this whole spectacle, then it failed. However, if it harms his career, I will be sorry for that, and it will not elevate my opinion of the parties that released his private information. Because the dude is a effing shill. I don't know how this wasn't absolutely, utterly obvious to anybody with half a brain cell the very second they saw him. I mean, come on, The dude's express purpose when he came out regarding disclosure info was to bash and on those talking about ET disclosure. What else did anyone expect him to be? Hell, I'm shocked he's had so much exposure on this sub as of late. Sure, give him exposure in order to out him as the shill he is, but that's pretty much all he is as far as I'm concerned. And by the way, very good find, OP. This shows that this guy's the literal definition of a psyop, a psychological operation. He functions as an agent designed to foment discord and muddy the waters of clarity in the field. There are various characters like this in this very sub. They're pretty easy to tell if you know what to look for. Is some organization paying him to do this YouTube character though? That's what I want to know. I wonder if Gaia is behind him. I found it very weird that Jason Rice, for example, was willing to do an interview with a snarky rando YouTube skeptic. Is some organization paying him to do this YouTube character? These are some of the very thoughts I had. Let's return to this comment because I think he wrote it. It's evidence of a sane person.
I think it's perfectly sane to be suspicious of...
I'd be very interested to hear his observations about the psychological health of all the guests.
Which is getting to know the individual psychology, thought process, personalities of each of these people.
He wants to go deeper into the mind and motivations of the performer. Right, because he's a psychologist, he's interested in that. He had a video about the mental side of riding out a hurricane. At the same time, I recognize that it may not be a good move.
With Dr. Farrell. At the same time, I recognize that he's really busy.
He's an expert in cognitive behavioral therapy and psychological assessment. FEMA trained. He's going to tell you jokes while he takes you by the hand to the FEMA camp. He's a National Health Service psychologist. The National Health Service is a publicly funded healthcare system in England. How did he get that qualification? I don't want him over here. As a psychologist, he does testing for transgender reassignment surgery and related therapies. In the surgery video, I told you there are doctors who approve you mutilating your body. He's one of them. Professional memberships, World Professional Association for Transgender Health. Honors, National Jesuit Honor Society, Loyola University. Is that Sai Chi? Loyola University, Maryland is a private Jesuit university in Baltimore, Maryland, established as Loyola College in Maryland by John Early and 8 other members of the Society of Jesus in 1852. It's the 9th oldest Jesuit college in the United States and the first college in the United States to bear the name of Saint Ignatius of Loyola, the founder of the Society of Jesus. He is tied with the Jesuits via his ancestor. On April 1st, 1909, Reverend Angelo Bonacci was replaced by Reverend Joseph Passarelli. Born in Rome, Italy, May 15, 1866, the Passarelli family was quite wealthy and owned vast estates throughout Italy. Their children, as those of most affluent Italians of the period, were educated in private Catholic institutions and exposed to Christian doctrines at an early age. Joseph Passarelli advanced quite brilliantly through these schools to graduate at the top of his class. He then entered the Jesuits' Rome University, earned a Doctor of Philosophy degree, and appeared to be on the road to becoming a cardinal. It was then that Father Passarelli became acquainted with William Burt, a chaplain at the military headquarters at Rome. The Jesuits are a military religious order of the Roman Catholic Church, Masonic and other oaths. The following is the Jesuit extreme oath of induction given to high-ranking Jesuits only. When a Jesuit of the minor rank is to be elevated to command, he is conducted into the chapel of the convent of the order, where there are only 3 others present, the principal of superior standing in front of the altar. On either side stands a monk, one of whom holds a banner of yellow and white, which are the papal colors, and the other a black banner with a dagger and red cross above a skull and crossbones, with the word INRI, and below them the words Justum Necar Regis Impius. The meaning is, It is just to exterminate or annihilate impious or heretical kings, governments, or rulers. My son, heretofore you have been taught to act the dissembler among Roman Catholics, to be a Roman Catholic, and to be a spy even among your own brethren, to believe no man, to trust no man, among the Reformers to be a Reformer, among the Huguenots to be a Huguenot, among the Calvinists to be a Calvinist, among other Protestants generally to be a Protestant, and obtaining their confidence, to seek even to preach from their pulpits, and to denounce with all the vehemence in your nature our holy religion and the Pope. Directed by Reverend Birch, Joseph quickly met the requirements of the school and received his diploma in June. Although he stated this was one of the greatest moments in his life, it came at a price. Outraged by his abandonment of Catholicism, his family severed all ties with him. Nonetheless, Paciarelli managed to regain happiness in his life. Soon after his graduation, he married Josephine, one of the first converts to Protestantism as a result of Italy's unification. In 1867, in response to growing unification that included almost all of the country except for Rome, the Pope forbade Catholic participation in the political life of the nation. On July 5, 1897, Reverend and Mrs. Paciarelli were sent to a mission field the Methodists considered barbarous and uncivilized to Christianize the natives. In July 1904, the Paciarelli family was permitted to move to Buffalo, New York. In addition to his ministerial chores, Reverend Paciarelli and his daughter Germania instructed night school in the church's basement. Joseph designed these classes to teach the Italians English and American history, as all foreigners needed such knowledge to obtain their naturalization papers. The early years of the Altoona Methodist Episcopal Church were rather successful. Although Reverend Paciarelli cared deeply for the Altoona believers, his services were needed elsewhere. In June 1916, he received a call from Baltimore. Joseph therefore left the Altoona Methodist Episcopal Church in 1916 to continue his work in Baltimore, Maryland. That's because in 1914 he was tried with libel, so criminals run in this family. You think normal people attend private colleges owned by Jesuits? The Jesuit Order exposed. They're a secret order created by Adam Weishaupt, a Jesuit priest. So when we talk about the Illuminati, you're probably talking about one of the many eco-political controlling arms of the Jesuits, which is a secret society that is based on an ancient pagan cult which infiltrated the Roman Church long ago. Why do you think that the central obelisk at the center of the Vatican Square was brought all the way from the center of Egyptian pagan worship and erected in the exact epicenter of Vatican Square? Contrary to popular belief, the Illuminati existed in Spain in the 1500s. The Illuminati did have a revival and restructuring in the 1700s through Adam Weishaupt, though. The Illuminati existed in Spain in the 1500s and was officially known in Spain as the Alumbrados, meaning illuminated. The Alumbrados were known to be involved in mystical spiritual ideology, which is what the present Illuminati occult groups advertise themselves to be. All the Illuminati front groups that work as doorways into the Illuminati for new recruits advertise themselves as mystical spiritual occult groups. However, as you progress further in the organization, they eventually lead you into a combination of hardcore Luciferianism and Satanism. Some groups, such as the Ordo Templi Orientis, have levels which are known as the Illuminati levels. Los Alumbrados had Gnostic and Babylonian origins, very similar to Crowley's OTO, that has relations to the Gnostic Church. Another well-known member of the Alumbrados in the 1500s was Ignatius Loyola, who has a college named after him, who was the founder and the first general of the Jesuit order. We clearly observe that the Illuminati, when documented at its earliest forms, is linked to the leader of the Jesuit order, Ignatius Loyola. Ignatius of Loyola, while studying at Salamanca in 1527, was brought before an ecclesiastical commission on a charge of sympathy with the Alumbrados. Ignatius Loyola, who was a member of the Alumbrados, was questioned about his involvement with this group by the Vatican. Ignatius also spoke directly to the Pope about his involvement with the Alumbrados and how he wanted to start up the Jesuit order to further the goals of the Roman Catholic Church. The Pope gave Ignatius his stamp of approval and allowed Ignatius Loyola to start up the Jesuit order, which would serve and eventually take over the Vatican. The Jesuit order now completely controls the Vatican. They furthermore promise and declare that they will, when opportunity present, make and wage relentless war, secretly or openly, against all heretics, Protestants and liberals, and as directed to extirpate and exterminate them from the face of the whole earth, and that they will spare neither age, sex, or condition, and that they will hang, waste, boil, flay, strangle, and bury alive these infamous heretics, rip up the stomachs and wombs of their women, and crush the infants' heads against the walls, in order to annihilate forever their execrable race, that when the same cannot be done openly, they will secretly use the poison cup, the strangulation cord, the steel of the poniard, or the leaden bullet, regardless of the honor, rank, dignity, or authority of the person or persons, whatever may be their condition in life, either public or private, as they at any time may be directed to do by any agent of the Pope or superior of the Brotherhood of the Holy Faith of the Society of Jesus. Ancestor was born in Rome and died in Maryland. He is interred in Baltimore, Maryland. Another relative born in Baltimore and died in Baltimore. Now we have Eugene, born in 1943, so this is the father, previous to his current city of Columbia, Maryland. This person is not from the Carolinas, he's from Maryland. The character he played is from Carolina. That's why in this video, he did not have the Southern accent. As a first-generation American, no, this is a lie. His ancestor arrived in America in 1904. He is tuned into the acculturation challenges faced by immigrants during their path to citizenship. Oh, just like ancestor helping the foreigners. Then he created a character and was set loose to manipulate the public, pointing to the illuminated eye, and those eyes are really frightening. I can see him chasing you with a knife. He began the video doing this Masonic gesture. The video is 1 hour and 16 minutes, and it's nothing but these Masonic hand signs throughout. He does that several times. That's the rite of silence, thumbs, that one again, pointing up. Sign of fidelity, Masonic gang sign. I don't know what this means, but I've seen Freemasons doing it. That's the devil horns. This means they agree to be murdered if they reveal the secrets. If you ask a Mason if he is one, he will lie about it, but the hand signs tell you. The black glove thing is weird. It's like Michael Jackson used to wear one glove. More Masonic sellout hand spells of a Jesuit agent. The 5th degree in the York Rite requires this dugard to be given thumb of the right hand to the mouth, and a sworn oath that the candidate will never disclose the secrets of a brother, Masonic ritual and monitor. Praying hands gesture, Masonic fist to chin.
If they're real, here's my thinking on it. And I'm not making hand signs, by the way. I'm not making demonic hand signs. I'm not a Freemason. Or people have asked me about that. No, I'm not a Freemason. Not really a joiner, personally. Just personally.
And he looked right into the camera when he said it. Gaslighting Freemason Git, who uses his background in psychology to deceive people. You think they study psychology to help us? No, it's to control your behavior without you knowing. Psychologists are skilled in psychological warfare. That's why the government hires them to play these roles and mislead you. The ruling elite use many symbols and signs to hide and obfuscate their magical work and alchemy. In the Blue Lodge, the first 3 degrees, the initiate takes an oath of obligation, pledging they will always hail, ever conceal, and never reveal any of the arts, parts, or points of the hidden mysteries of ancient Freemasonry. Masonry, like all the religions, all the mysteries, Hermeticism, and alchemy, conceals its secrets from all except the adepts and sages or the elect, and uses false explanations and misinterpretations of its symbols to mislead those who deserve only to be misled, to conceal the truth which it calls light from them, and to draw them away from it. Distortion to reality, Freemasons, gaslighting, and gang stalking. How can two things that work almost completely in the shadows be easily tied together? The allegedly impossible to detect gang stalking and its single-player cousin gaslighting are often linked with the mystic Judaism-based secret society, the Freemasons, an undetectable psychological attack that thrives off of its facelessness, and an age-old society that have huge membership but have somehow managed to actually conceal their identity for what could be over 3,000 years, depending on what you take as real. We look at the links between reports of Freemason behavior and the silent psychological dagger of gang stalking and gaslighting.
I mean, we surely wouldn't want to be held morally accountable for leading hundreds of thousands of people a week astray in their spiritual journey, ascension, descension, what have you, in a spiritual way without involving cult type activity, right?
Doing the Delta hand sign. Oh no, not a joiner, not a Freemason. I don't know what this sign means, but I've seen people in Cosmic Disclosure doing it. And then celebrities are doing it, so there's something to it. Masonic sign of distress. Anyone talking to C.W. Chanter is a Freemason. All of these CIA agents and Jesuit agents fraternize with each other. I exposed Dark Journalist. This is an FTM Freemason agent. The person says, these are all military kids. And he's doing the hand signs throughout. Jordan, the asexual Borg. Yes, she's an FTM Freemason. That's why they were comfortable around him, because he advocates transgenderism. That tells you it's a government operation. Now say that in Dylan and them might be into the occult a lot with that stuff they did. Oh, she lived with him. Interesting. Who paid the rent? Gaia. Building her con game. She's a Christian but practices tarot. Niche says she invites Joe to it here soon. This person seems to be around these Freemason agents, so if I'm wondering which one is which, I look for that person. She is reading from a script. These people can't make it in the normal world, so they're here trying to be real professional, but they just aren't good enough. They're loose cannons and it will end in tears because it's just fantasy. Teresa is a Luciferian. Hashtag spoiler, she's just invited you onto Divine Frequency channel to talk about anything you want. Live stream ends. This is proof that he's being piloted by some organization, telling him to end the live stream, and then when he was talking to her, Jordan showed up in chat.
I'm telling you, experiments are experiments. That's why I think it's very important that we have informed consent when we're doing experiments that involve the public. Whether it's a marketing experiment, whether it is an entertainment experiment, a medical or psychological experiment, or heck, military, the public deserves to know the risks and benefits, and they should have the right to opt out before that experiment begins.
So why didn't he inform the people it was an experiment? He led people to believe he was a normal person seeking truth. He assists in social media influence and is a consultant for entertainment psychology. That's his get out of jail card. If anyone wanted to sue him for false pretenses, he can say, oh no, I was performing a psych eval to better understand my patients who get caught up in these stories or are influenced by these stories and think it's real. He's definitely an agent, so his agency can shelve any lawsuits.
I'm a Zionist, shill, Jew, Vatican, Catholic, Illuminati, CIA, DIA, FBI, NSA, Interpol, alien, reptilian, you name it, agent. Okay?
And recently, he removed all his videos and made them private. I'm sure that's because of Corey's deposition. I do not care about that. I told you Cosmic Disclosure is a Freemason theater company. Most of them are transgender, but they are all Freemason agents. He had a band on the side as well. Video is private. He changed the name 3 times. First they were Filthy Weasels, and then it was something else, and then changed it to Bound Society and singing about psyops. He's too old to be jumping on a stage and singing angsty Green Day style songs. The next fake doctor is Brian Ardis. Shoulders slope downwards. And this person reminds me of Queens of the Stone Age frontwoman. Another doctor that's playing musical chairs with shills. What is Ardis backward? Sidra. Sidra, a weekly portion of the Pentateuch, read in the synagogue on the Sabbath. History and etymology of Sidra. Late Hebrew Sidra, literally order arrangement, from Hebrew Seder, order. Oh, you just got busted and there's nothing you can do. Talking to Stu Peters. Someone asked me if he exists outside of the internet or if he's AI. He could be AI. Round hairline, chubby face, small mouth, sloping shoulders, Masonic hand spells, portal above your head, magenta, purple, and blue. Sherry Tenpenny chatting to someone with a weird name. And Alexa Jones doing the hand signs. Wide shoulders, thumbs up. Two-finger Baphomet sign. Edited the ring finger because this is a man. Pointing down. In 2020, I made a video that these two are transgender agents. When I exposed this Freemason agent, his flying monkeys came over and flagged the video and had it removed. But currently it's still on BitChute. Long ring finger, narrow male hips. I think Janet is playing the character of Sherry. Same eyes, same teeth. Same nose, same mouth, and the teeth are identical. They claim they are being censored, but I don't believe it. They haven't uploaded anything in a year, since 2021, and that's because he's busy being Sherry. There's editing to give Stuart a brow ridge and Janet a small skull. The lines along the nose are the same. The lines down the mouth is the same. To me, it looks like the same person with different hair color. His name is Sherry Tenpenny. 10p means it's worth 10 pence. On the reverse of a 10p coin is a lion. The symbol for expansions is a lion. The look on his face is like he's tired of doing this. There's the lion on Stuart's top, connecting Janet to Sherry. Again, as Sherry, he's using face fillers. Give Janet blonde hair, drawn on eyebrows, a fat face and glasses. Magically, you've got Sherry. Happy hour with Dr. T. I think LA is at FTM. She spoke to Freeman Fly often. These Freemasons talk to each other. It was the eyes that gave you away. The nose is exact. The lines either side of the nose, the lines going down the mouth, they give Sherry brown contacts. That's why he's everywhere. He's a transgender Masonic shill. They both have that dead stare. I'm 100% certain this is Janet. Got the same chin as well. I think the red hair is a wig because he never ties it up or changes the style. It's always the same look. Can you see it? Masonic actor. Only their servitors are permitted to talk about the jabs. They don't like normal people discussing it because they can't control what we say. Alexa was busted recently for being a crisis actor in Ukraine. Alex moves her index finger away from the others, and she's doing the same thing here.
Ебали, 1-300, и Ванька Шаган 200. Разорвало на куски. Кое-как вышли, пацаны помогли.
The visitors are not our friends! They've come to rape our planet and kill us! They are not who they appear to be! This is not science fiction!
And who are you talking to? Judy Manovitz? And you're talking to Stu. I'm sick of these Freemason agents on these platforms. Go away. This one looks very feminine. If you'd like to see part 2, enter your email. Kerry Cassidy, Project Camelot. You know, Kerry has worked with Hollywood, and that tells you everything. I see a short man. The FTM is taller but has sloping shoulders. These are not the eyes of a woman. Predatory, psychotic look. Masonic hand signs, huge teeth. I saw this documentary, but they're positioned on the bridge that looks like XX, which is Saturn. And strangely, Judy looks like Marsha K. Moore. Obvious male, tall forehead, big teeth, large jaw, large hands. The person is a historical sculpture, but it's really eerie how similar they look. Judy looks to have a prosthetic nose anyway because the color on it doesn't match the rest of the face. Wide shoulders, straight legs. Large forehead, the nose coloring is too dark. Large jaw, wide neck. Most would assume it's a butch lesbian, but it's not, it's a man. The eye is wonky. They did some strange editing on the body. Dr. Sebi, whose skull is pointed at the top, this is 100% female. And the daughter looks like a man. Large forehead, wide dental arch, square male wrist, Masonic hand sign. Sebi also doing hand signs but looks like a soft old woman. More hand spells. Erykah Badu hanging out with Sebi. What's the truth? The truth is he's a Freemason. They aren't going to allow normal people in close proximity to them because they can't take the risk of you saying something. They know that they are occultists. They know that they are trans. They feel comfortable around their own because if they slip up, you're from a Freemason family and they know that you won't tell. That might be a real woman with Queenie, but they don't let average people around them, so you can trust that she's a Freemason as well. Probably because she wasn't at the hospital for medical reasons. My brother is in the army. He told me the best place to hide a secret location is in the basement of a hospital. People are always entering and exiting. Hand signs. I've heard the over-flexible thumb is a sign of these bloodliners. What is she wearing? It's like a New Age cult. 6-pointed star of Ramthan, Moloch, or Saturn, Fraternitas Saturni. And people say it's not a woman, look at the shoulders. Prosthetic shoulder extenders, have you heard of them? The shoulders have the same rounded edges. These are professional deceivers. Doing the hand sign, but look at the digit ratio. Dr. Sebi's Usha village. Usha in Sanskrit means dawn, like the Order of the Golden Dawn. They've corrupted it. I told you, these Masons hijacked the knowledge from India and they corrupted it. 1 finger pointed down, 2 fingers pointed down. Born in 1933. I am sick to the back teeth of these Freemason actors on these platforms. All of these operatives in the truth community, pretending to be Christian, pretending like they're one of us, that they're just looking for the truth. There's only one thing I have to say. Run.